On her way home today, our protagonist Emma could be said to have run into a streak of absolute terrible luck. Her car broke down right in the middle of the highway, and at this crucial moment, her phone had absolutely no signal. This place is completely isolated from civilization, leaving her with nothing to do but wait for doom. However, just as she was falling into deep despair, she suddenly heard gunshots ringing out not far away. At first, she thought it was just local hunters, but following the sound to take a closer look, she was instantly scared out of her wits. 6 drug traffickers hadn't just taken a police officer hostage, they executed him right then and there. Shocked to her core, the glass cup in Emma's hand slipped and shattered on the ground. This is bad. The noise instantly caught the attention of the thugs. The boss immediately ordered his men to hunt her down. How could the fragile Emma outrun 6 grown muscular men? Faced with an overwhelming 1v6 disadvantage, Emma stood absolutely no chance. Before she could run very far, they pinned her down. And to deliberate on how to handle Emma, who had just witnessed their murder, the boss wanted Peter, a newcomer who had just joined them, to finish her off. But Peter didn't have the stomach for it. He normally wouldn't even dare to step on an ant, let alone take a human life. The boss wanted to use this opportunity to train him and harden his heart. Just then, Curly chimed in. Looking at Emma lying helplessly on the ground, his lust got the better of him. He suggested to the boss that the boys should have some fun with her first, and it wouldn't be too late to get rid of her afterward. The boss thought that made sense, so he decided to flip a coin to determine who would go first. But what they never expected was that the previous gunshot hadn't actually killed the officer. It had only struck him in the shoulder. Waking up, the officer began making eye contact with Emma. He signaled that he would sneak over to the police car to call for backup, telling Emma to hold tight and not give him away. As the coin toss finished, Curly grabbed Emma and propped her against a metal rack. Just as Curly was about to pounce on her, the officer managed to get into the car just in time, successfully drawing their attention away. Forgetting all about Emma, the thugs quickly hopped into their vehicles to chase the officer. The boss, being the smartest of the bunch, grabbed an AWM sniper rifle, laid prone on the hilltop, and took out the officer with a single precise shot. But during this brief window of time, Emma successfully swiped the key to the handcuffs, unlocked herself, and made a run for it. She also managed to grab a small knife as a self-defense weapon. After that, she crept over to their car, taking every useful tool and piece of gear she could find, packing it all up. When the thugs doubled back, they found Emma long gone and instantly exploded with rage. Curly was the one carrying the most blame here. If it weren't for this guy's pathetic lust, Emma would have been dealt with ages ago, but pointing fingers now was useless. So they all set out together to search for her. Meanwhile, Emma found a spot to rest for a moment to stabilize her breathing and calm her nerves. As an elementary school teacher, this was the first time she had ever faced a situation like this. She had truly escaped from the jaws of death. However, right now she needed to focus on what to do next, rather than panicking and thinking she was doomed. Once she regained her composure, Emma began preparing her counterattack. She was absolutely no easy prey. Her father was a retired Special Forces soldier of over 10 years, and he had strictly trained her since she was a little girl. Not only did he teach her practical survival skills, but he also taught her how to deal with dangerous predators and bad guys in the wild. Now the brilliant Emma was putting those lessons to use. To scatter their forces and pick them off one by one, she went down to the ground and forged 3 different sets of footprints, leading in separate directions. Back with the boss and his crew, they discovered some of Emma's discarded gear, deducing that she must still be in the area and hadn't made it far. Sure enough, they fell right into her trap, thoroughly confused by the 3 sets of footprints split in different directions. What should they do? They had no choice but to split up into 2 teams, sending 2 men down each path, keeping in touch via walkie-talkie. Before long, Curly and Alvin were the first to spot Emma. Seeing her drinking water, Alvin wanted to seize the moment and report to the boss immediately. Unexpectedly, Curly stopped him. This idiot was still thinking with his lower half. Still intent on forcing himself on Emma, he told Alvin to wait right here and not report this to the boss just yet. But Emma was steps ahead. She knew the thugs had been running all this way and would definitely be parched. If she got caught, they would inevitably snatch her water bottle. So Emma had laced the water with poison beforehand, and she even poisoned the nearby watering hole. Then she sat there pretending to drink. Curly quietly sneaked up behind her, first forcing Emma to toss the water bottle over to him. Curly took massive gulps of the poisoned water, then walked right up to Emma, sneering, "Run! Weren't you great at running? Try fighting back. The more you fight, the more excited I get." Looking at the seemingly weak, helpless, and weeping woman before him, Curly completely let his guard down. In the very next second, Emma whipped out her knife and delivered a lethal stab straight into Curly. Seeing that Curly was taking too long, Alvin used his walkie-talkie to contact him, while simultaneously informing the boss that they had found Emma. Hearing the voice over the radio, Emma knew this place wasn't safe for long, so she quickly grabbed Curly's walkie-talkie and fled into the brush. When Alvin found Curly's lifeless body, he was devastated. Lust really is a double-edged sword, brother. Sighing, there was nothing left to say. He quickly tracked the footprints to hunt down Emma and avenge his fallen brother. On the other side, after running for a bit, Emma found a place to rest. She turned on the walkie-talkie and began taunting the boss and his crew. "Don't be in such a rush, the counter hunt has only just begun. Your buddy Curly has already been taken care of by me. As for the rest of you, your turn is coming soon, don't worry." Meanwhile, The boss and the remaining crew were hot on her trail. Passing the spot where Curly died, they stopped to drink some water to quickly replenish their strength. Little did they know the water source there had also been poisoned by Emma. The remaining thugs mindlessly drank the toxic water. Switching back to Alvin, he was so entirely focused on tracking the footprints on the ground that he failed to notice a massive rock falling from above, crushing him. That's right, it was dropped by Emma. Looking at the motionless Alvin on the ground, Emma assumed he was dead, but it turned out Alvin was playing dead. The moment Emma walked up to him, catching her off guard, he yanked her down and violently choked her by the throat. Fortunately, Emma's hands were still free. She managed to grab a pistol that had dropped to the ground and shot Alvin dead. Afterward, she picked up the walkie-talkie and told the boss, "Another one of your lackeys has been crossed off my list." After running a bit further, Emma spotted an abandoned house ahead. At the exact same time, the boss and his remaining men finally caught up. The boss raised his sniper rifle and started pinning Emma down. However, Emma was incredibly agile. Without proper bullet prediction skills, the boss couldn't hit her at all. Meanwhile, the remaining thugs' bodies began to realize that the poison was finally kicking in. The boss ordered his men to go down and flush Emma out, while he remained on high ground, ready to take her out the moment she showed her head. Taking advantage of their distraction, Emma slipped into the house. Spotting an old hacksaw on the ground, she hatched a plan and hastily rigged up a simple trap. Outside, the remaining thugs split up their duties. Peter was put on lookout duty outside, while the other two breached the house, one from the front and one from the back door. The bearded thug who went through the back door ran into a stroke of pure bad luck. With one careless step, he triggered the trap and was killed on the spot. On the other side, seeing 3 of his men fail to handle a single woman, the boss decided to take matters into his own hands. Meanwhile, the thug entering through the front door caught Emma off guard, blindsiding her and tackling her to the ground. However, he didn't finish her off with one blow, because killing her instantly would be far too easy on her after she had slaughtered so many of his brothers. The thug stood up, took a breath, intending to brutally humiliate her before delivering the final blow. But this brief window of arrogance provided Emma with the perfect opportunity to counterattack. She grabbed a heavy wooden panel and slammed it right into the thug. However, the thug managed to block the blow. Seeing Emma try to resist, he found it pathetic and futile. He delivered 2 brutal slaps that knocked her straight to the ground. Lying on the floor, Emma began taunting him, challenging him to a 1v1 duel. The thug sneered, "Who the hell do you think you're looking down on?" Don't forget, Emma is the daughter of an elite soldier, but against a massive physical strength disadvantage, Emma was still overpowered. Luckily, fortune favored the brave. Emma got her hands on a heavy dumbbell and slammed it directly into the thug's skull, crushing him. Oh right, there was still one more person we seem to have forgotten. Peter. How did this coward die? The boss had told him to stop hovering outside and get inside the house to help, but Peter, being a complete rookie with 0 combat experience, was immediately taken hostage by Emma. Peter begged Emma for mercy, imploring her to spare his life. Emma's heart softened and she let him go, but this ungrateful coward, the second he ran out the door, screamed to the boss, "Emma is inside the house! Get down here!" Without hesitating for a single second, Emma opened fire and eliminated the treacherous Peter, which brings us back to the present. The moment Emma stepped outside, she ran right into the boss. He was the only one left. Emma challenged him openly. "As their leader, you must be pretty skilled. Let's put down our weapons and have a classic 1v1 pistol duel." Hearing this, the boss couldn't help but burst into laughter. If he couldn't even outshoot a weak woman, he wouldn't be the boss. Arrogant and full of pride, he thought his victory was absolutely guaranteed. However, the moment he drew his gun, Emma perfectly anticipated his movement. With a swift dodge, his bullet only grazed her shoulder, while simultaneously, Emma fired 2 clean shots that ended the boss's life once and for all. Just like that, a ruthless drug lord met his end at the hands of an elementary school teacher. This epic desert border hunt and counter-kill finally drew to a definitive close. The protagonist in this movie definitely had strong plot armor, and the villains were slightly downgraded in intelligence, but at its core, this movie isn't just a cheap revenge fantasy. It's a testament to raw survival instinct. It teaches us never to surrender our fate to despair too early. What you assume is a dead end often hides an unexpected turning point, but that turning point can only be seized, fought for, and won by your own hands. All right, see you all in the next recap.